This is the man who gives a new definition to Mars Bar. It's Galactus, the devourer of worlds. He has a gnawing hunger that he never can quite satisfy, so he's always on the move to find another planet to eat. Well, eat is a loose term. He kind of absorbs the energy when he breaks the planet down into its core elements, so to speak. It's pretty permanent what this dude does to get his meals. But you see over on his shoulder, hovering up there, is the Silver Surfer. His first herald. When Galactus came to the planet Zenla to devour that, a scientist there named Norin Rad went up to the dude and he's like, "Hey, spare my planet. If you do that, I'll be in your service. I'll go find you other planets to eat." Galactus was like, "All right, yeah, that sounds cool." And then he gave him a silver skin and captured a childhood memory of his and gave him a surfboard as a vehicle to get around on, and then imbued him with the power cosmic, which Galactus has in droves. But there's so much purple, blue, and magenta being used here, I honestly can't tell you what the piece count is on this. More than I would like to admit. He is extremely heavy. The core is comprised mostly of plates, so it's really dense in there. Also, to keep him from tilting, I had to lock the legs in place. He is pretty well articulated, knee, hip joints, ankle joints even, but I had to lock the knees and the hips in place when he stands to keep him from wobbling, because if he wobbles too far one way or the other, dude gets real tipsy real quick. We're just going around here looking at little details and the construction and whatnot on the exterior of Galactus. The skirt and the detailing around there. The knees here, which are more of a suggestion than anything. The boots, the rims around that. Have you seen any of the videos making... In the process of making this, you've seen the original source figure that I based the detailing for most of this off, which I have consulted with a number of my comics, and is pretty accurate for what I needed. But you can see here the backside of the legs and the rear bit of skirt. The front and the back of the skirt are hinged. The sides are locked in. But the front and the back are hinged so that they, A, will lock the legs in place, and B, allow for the legs to move into a seating position. Or seated position, rather. And there are a couple pieces on the front and back that kind of hold those in a decent place as well, to keep them from wiggling out of joint and letting the big guy here take a tumble. Here's a look at one of the side skirts. It is permanently attached to the hip, solidly, so it has no wobble or anything. And actually, when he goes into a seated position, some of the weight does rest on those side hip skirt pieces. But the front skirt, it has this centerpiece that pops off to allow it to fold up. We'll just move that a little bit there, and then see that. And you can notice here too, you see the slopes on the left and the right. Those are what lock the skirt in place. And you can see under here a little bit of the hip joint. Taking a look at his hands, we have 5 articulated fingers. Not as articulated as I would like, but in this scale, to get them to look the way I wanted them to, I had to resort to doing them like this. That's a 1x3 curved slope there. That's extended out on a clip plate. And you can see it kind of makes a little bit of a fist. The elbow does move. There's a little flap there to add a suggestion of sleeve on the inside. Not a lot of detail on the inside around the elbow, just to leave room free for movement. You can see a little bit of the in the rear, how it's coming down to cover up the elbow area there. And we're taking a look now at the shoulder joint. This is the reason this whole thing was started, because this is a similar construction to the shoulder joint from the Demon Bull King from the Monkie Kid line. It holds a lot of friction in there, and that's how I knew that I would be able to make these massive arms and be able to keep them upright. The head swivels on an axle that actually has a couple gears to add friction on the inside there. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. I'll just spin around here, and the head just kind of pops right off. It's a pretty... I had to start with the face, so the face was the key part to get in, and then I could base the scale off of everything else from that. Next was the hands, because I had to make sure that the Silver Surfer would fit in the hands, and that had to also be proportionate to the face. And the antennae took a little bit of reworking as well, but you can see here the Silver Surfer has got his own little... I made a little stud there where he can rest at that point to recreate a classic comic book scene. And he can also rest in the hand, standing, looking all defiant, like, come on, Big G, why you gotta be so down on all the people? Let's just find an uninhabited planet, for crying out loud. But thank you all for checking this out. This has been a fun journey making Galactus. The heaviest thing I think I've made in quite some time that has to be freestanding for sure. But yeah, hey, it got me into making YouTube videos, so Excelsior, true believers!